Have you ever been on a road so empty the world outside disappears? That's where Anya found herself, driving home but feeling lost, her heart heavy from a painful goodbye. A missed turn sent her down the infamous NH-49, a road whispered about in old stories. Rain poured, the storm raging, and Anya realized she was truly alone, lost, heartbroken, and driving into the unknown. The car began to sputter. At first it was just a cough, a slight hesitation in the engine's steady rhythm. Anya prayed it was nothing, a fluke, just the car reacting to the sudden cold of the rain. But the sputters grew more frequent, more violent. The engine choked, gasped, and then, with one final shuddering groan, it died. The headlights flickered out, plunging her into an almost absolute darkness. The only light was the faint, ghostly glow of the dashboard, its warning lights blinking like malevolent red eyes. The silence that followed was even more terrifying than the storm's roar. She was stranded, completely and utterly alone. Her phone, her last link to civilization, was useless. No signal. The words mocked her from the screen, a final confirmation of her total isolation. Panic, cold and sharp, began to prickle at the edges of her composure. She had to do something. Sitting in a dead car in the middle of a haunted highway during a biblical storm was not an option. Taking a deep breath, she pushed the door open against the wind and stepped out into the raging night. The rain soaked her instantly, cold and heavy, plastering her hair to her face. She started walking, with no idea which direction was forward, hoping for a sign, any sign of life. After what felt like an eternity of walking, her shoes squelching with every step, she saw it. Through the thick curtain of rain, a light flickered weakly in the distance. It was a neon sign, its colors bleeding into the wet darkness. As she trudged closer, the words slowly came into focus. Silver Pines Motel vacancy. Relief washed over her so powerfully it almost brought her to her knees. A motel, a roof, a bed, a phone that worked, a safe harbor in the storm. It seemed too good to be true, a miracle appearing exactly when she needed it most. It was an oasis in a desert of despair. The closer she got, however, the more the sense of relief was tinged with something else, an unease. The motel looked old, not charmingly vintage, but unnervingly preserved, like a photograph from a bygone era. The neon sign buzzed and flickered erratically, casting long, dancing shadows that made the building seem to breathe. Still, it was shelter. With her teeth chattering and her body trembling from the cold, she pushed open the glass door and stepped inside, the tinkling of a small bell announcing her arrival. She was just looking for help, but the only thing this motel offered was a permanent stay. Anya found herself on NH-49, the highway of disappearances, cursed, haunted, and now swallowing her whole. Her GPS rerouted her deeper into the storm, every shadow twisting menacingly. The car sputtered, headlights died, and she was stranded, alone, no signal, panic rising. On a haunted road in a dead car, Anya realized she was truly trapped. Pushing the car door open was a battle against the wind. The storm assaulted her, drenching her instantly. Alone, she walked into the darkness, every step an act of will, fear twisting the shadows around her. At her lowest, a pinprick of light appeared, a beacon through the rain. Silver Pines Motel. Relief washed over her. A miracle, or so she thought. The Silver Pines Motel looked like it had been pulled from a forgotten decade. Its neon sign flickered in the rain, casting a sickly glow over peeling paint and dark windows. Anya hesitated, every instinct screaming something was wrong, but the storm forced her inside. The bell jingled as she entered the silent lobby, greeted by an old woman with a fixed, unsettling smile. The only sound was a ticking clock. Dread began to eclipse her relief. Anya followed the silent bellboy down a blood-red hallway, the carpet swallowing every sound. The bellboy stopped at the last door, room 313, unlocked it, and vanished without a word. Inside, the room was immaculate, almost museum-like. cold and untouched. Anya's unease grew as she noticed the only furnishing of note: a black rotary phone on the nightstand. She tried to shake off the dread, heading to the spotless bathroom for a hot shower. As she glanced in the mirror, she thought she saw the door behind her creak open, then nothing. The door was locked. She was alone. Or was she? The room's perfection felt suffocating, more tomb than sanctuary. Anya pulled back the curtains, expecting the parking lot, but found only a walled, overgrown garden and a single dead tree. No other windows faced this hidden courtyard. Her room was the only one with a view. Panic set in. The door was locked tight. She was trapped in a beautiful cage. The ticking clock echoed, each second a reminder of her isolation. She tried to rationalize, but her instincts screamed this place was a trap. She wasn't a guest, she was a specimen. Staring into the foggy garden, Anya saw a figure emerge, a girl in a white hoodie, moving with a lost, haunted air. Anya's heart stopped. The girl's profile was unmistakable. Tanya, her best friend, missing for 6 months. Logic failed. Tanya's car was found wrecked, her body never recovered. Anya pressed her hand to the glass, whispering Tanya's name, but the figure drifted away into the woods, vanishing in the mist. Was it a ghost? Or was Tanya alive? The motel had shown her a piece of her past, or a warning. Hope and terror warred inside her. Shaken, Anya sat on the bed, adrenaline sharpening every sound. The dripping faucet, the buzzing light, the relentless tick of the clock. Then footsteps in the hallway, slow and dragging, stopping outside her door. She held her breath, waiting for a knock. A voice. Nothing. Suddenly, whispering filled the room. A chilling hiss from the bathroom. The door was ajar, darkness spilling out. The whispers grew louder, urgent, pained. Something, or someone, was in her bathroom. Panic rooted Anya in place, but the need to know was stronger than her fear. She crept to the bathroom, each step an eternity, the whispers intensifying. She flung the door open. Silence. In the shadows stood the girl from the garden, Tanya. But this Tanya was pale, bruised, her eyes empty and dead. Anya stared at the ghost of her best friend, broken and haunted just feet away. The nightmare had only begun. Anya couldn't move. She stared at the ghostly figure of her best friend, Tanya, hollow, bruised, and desperate. It wasn't life in Tanya's eyes. It was a warning. Tanya pointed, trembling, at the door. A silent scream to flee. Her whisper chilled the air. They don't let you leave. You could check in, but you could never, ever check out. Tanya's ghost warned, they don't let you leave. Anya realized this was no dream. She was trapped in a nightmare. She fled the room, sprinting down endless blood-red corridors, desperate to escape. But outside, there was no road, no car, just a void of darkness. Running through the woods only brought her back to the motel. There was no escape. Anya stumbled back into the motel, the door clicking shut behind her with chilling finality. Her gaze fell on a wall of guest photos, smiling faces, each with a news clipping about their disappearance. Every picture was a missing person, a monument to lives lost at the Silver Pines Motel. Would her face be next on this haunted gallery's wall? Tanya's ghostly figure appeared by a hidden door behind the reception desk, her dead eyes filled with grim purpose. She gestured silently, inviting Anya to cross into the unknown. The staff-only door beckoned. Heart pounding, Anya stepped through, cold air and the scent of decay washing over her. Before her, a staircase plunged into darkness. With trembling legs, she descended, the door closing behind her, sealing her fate. The stairs creaked under Anya's weight as she descended into the basement, the air thick with mildew and dread. A single bulb flickered, casting monstrous shadows over piles of dusty suitcases and scattered belongings. Against the far wall, uniforms hung from rusty meat hooks, silent proof of the horror here. In the corner, Anya found Tanya's blood-stained hoodie, her final resting place. As Anya stood there, frozen by the sight of Tanya's blood-stained hoodie, a slow shuffling sound echoed from the far side of the basement, pulling her from her grief-stricken trance. From behind a towering pile of decaying luggage, figures began to emerge from the deepest shadows. First came the old woman, the receptionist, her fixed smile now a grotesque, stretched-out grimace on a face that was literally rotting away. Patches of gray skin sloughed from her cheekbones, and one of her pale blue eyes was clouded over, milky and blind. The lavender scent was gone, replaced by the overpowering stench of the grave. Next to her shambled the silent bellboy, his posture no longer just stiff, but unnaturally rigid, like a corpse in the throes of rigor mortis. His jaw hung slack, and a dark, viscous fluid trickled from the corner of his mouth. He was followed by a large, hulking man Anya hadn't seen before, wearing the blood-soaked butcher's apron. He held a rusty cleaver in one hand, its edge chipped and dark. His face was a horrifying mask of decay, his eyes burning with a cold, malevolent light. They were the staff, and they were all dead. They were the ghostly, rotting remnants of other people who had gone missing along the highway, now bound to serve the motel in death. They stopped about 20 feet from her, a silent, undead welcoming committee. The smiling, rotting receptionist raised a bony finger and pointed it directly at Anya. Her jaw unhinged slightly as she spoke, her voice no longer a soft, papery whisper but a chorus of spectral, overlapping voices, the voices of all the lost souls trapped within the motel's walls. The sound was a chilling cacophony of pain and hunger, and it echoed off the damp concrete, seeming to come from everywhere at once. They began to chant, a single horrifying phrase repeated over and over again, the words burrowing into Anya's mind like maggots. Room 313, room 313. The chant grew louder, more insistent, a hypnotic, inescapable rhythm. The ghostly staff began to slowly advance, their movements jerky and unnatural, their dead eyes fixated on her. They were a tide of decay and malice, coming to claim her. The butcher raised his cleaver, the rotten smile on his face widening. The receptionist continued to point, her own smile a rictus of eternal predatory hospitality. Room 313, they chanted, their voices promising an eternity of sterile silence and walled-in gardens. And then the final damning phrase was added to their litany, no checkout, no checkout, no checkout. The chant of Room 313, no checkout, hammered at Anya, threatening to shatter her sanity. As undead staff advanced, a shimmer of light appeared. Tanya's ghost, now a shield, stood between Anya and the horrors. Urgently, Tanya rasped, "Your keys! Find them! Now!" Anya's trembling hands found her car keys, hope sparking faintly. Could there truly be a way out? "The back exit," Tanya's ghost whispered, her form flickering violently as if the effort of holding back the other spirits was draining her essence. "Through the boiler room. It leads outside. The real outside." The dead staff had resumed their slow, shuffling advance, their chanting growing more furious, more hungry. They were pushing against Tanya's spectral energy, a tide of darkness pressing against a fragile dam of light. Anya could see the strain on her friend's ghostly face, the agony it was causing her to defy the will of the motel. This was a place that did not tolerate rebellion, and Tanya was paying the price for her loyalty to the living. Tanya pointed a trembling, translucent hand towards a dark, narrow doorway at the far end of the basement, a passage Anya hadn't noticed before. "Go, Anya, run! Don't look back!" The command was laced with pain and a terrible finality. Anya hesitated, her heart tearing in two. How could she leave her here? How could she abandon her best friend, even the ghost of her, to these monsters? "Tanya, come with me," she pleaded, her voice cracking with desperation. It was a foolish, childish plea, and she knew it the moment the words left her lips. The rules of this place were cruel and absolute. A sad, ethereal smile touched the ghost's lips. It was the first genuine expression Anya had seen on her face, a fleeting glimpse of the friend she had lost. "I can't," Tanya whispered, her voice fading. "I belong to them now. This is as far as I go." Her form flickered more violently, turning almost completely transparent for a moment before solidifying again. The other spirits surged forward, their rotten hands almost reaching her. Tanya was buying her time, sacrificing her own spectral peace to give Anya a chance, a single fleeting opportunity to break the cycle that had ensnared so many, including herself. "Go!" The word was a final, desperate scream that echoed with the last of her power. It pushed Anya backward, a tangible force that broke her paralysis and sent her stumbling towards the boiler room door. Tears streamed down Anya's face as she turned her back on her friend. It was the second time she was losing Tanya, a fresh wave of grief and guilt washing over her. But she honored her friend's sacrifice. She ran. She didn't look back. The last thing she heard as she plunged through the doorway was the sound of the monstrous chanting swelling to a triumphant roar, and the faint, whispery sigh of her friend's name on the dead air. The boiler room was a claustrophobic hell of hissing pipes and a greenish furnace. Anya stumbled through the heat, desperate for escape. She found the rusted exit, shoved it open, and cold, rain-soaked air hit her face. Her car waited in the fog. She sprinted, hands shaking, praying the engine would start. Miraculously, it roared to life. She sped away, the motel vanishing into the mist behind her. Anya thought she'd escaped the Silver Pines Motel, but as the fog thinned, hope shattered. She was right back where she started. The neon sign glowed, its message twisting into a cruel greeting. "Welcome back, Anya." The road was an unbroken circle. There was no escape. There never was. "Welcome back," Anya burned in neon through the fog, a death sentence. The motel had won. She sat, defeated, hope gone, the world outside fading until only the motel remained. Numbly, she stepped out, drawn back to the entrance, resignation settling in. The guest ledger waited. Her fate, written in black ink, was sealed forever. The ghostly pen moved with a steady, deliberate hand, its strokes elegant and final. Anya watched, mesmerized, as it filled in the details of her stay. Next to her name, Anya S., and her room number, 313, it wrote the date she had checked in, today. Then it moved to the final, most important column, the one that separated the transient from the permanent. The column labeled, checked out. The pen paused for a dramatic, heart-stopping moment before scratching a single, chilling word onto the yellowed page. Never. The word seemed to pulse with a dark energy, a final, unbreakable seal on her soul. Her registration was complete. She was now and forever a resident. As the pen wrote the final letter, a strange transformation began within Anya. The terror and despair didn't just fade, they were replaced by a profound emptiness, a hollowing out of everything she once was. Her grief for Tanya, her heartbreak, her own identity, it all dissolved into a quiet, calm nothingness. A coldness spread through her veins, a chill that had nothing to do with the night air and everything to do with the grave. She felt her connection to her old life, to the world beyond the highway, sever completely. The person who had missed a turn and stumbled into this nightmare was gone, her essence absorbed by the very walls around her. She looked down at her clothes, the rain-soaked jeans and jacket, and they felt alien, like the costume of a stranger. A simple, clean uniform, like the one the bellboy wore, materialized on a hook behind the counter. She knew, without being told, what she had to do. She was part of the staff now. A new role had been assigned to her in the motel's endless, repeating play. Her purpose was no longer to escape, but to serve. To welcome the next lost soul who missed a turn on NH49, to offer them a warm room and a friendly smile, to guide them into the same trap that had claimed her. She was a lure, a ghost in waiting. The bell above the front door tinkles softly, announcing a new arrival, another car pulling up outside in the fog. Anya looks up, her smile widening just a fraction. The cycle is beginning again. She is just looking for help. But the only thing this motel offers is a permanent stay, and she is now the one who ensures nobody ever leaves. The horror hasn't ended. It has just found a new attendant.
The shadows are restless tonight, and so are we. If you're brave enough, hit that like button. Let us know what you think in the comments. And subscribe for more spine-tingling stories that lurk just around the corner.